Well, the FW de Klerk Foundation's Ismail Joosub and the Steve Biko Foundation CEO Nkosinathi Biko join us this evening to react to that announcement by the President. Gentlemen, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Biko, I'll let you go first. The importance of this moment, the timing of it, and I imagine it having the backing of the foundation.
Thank you, Naledi. Indeed, it has more than just the backing of the foundations. For the past year, leaders of these foundations have been working every Tuesday evening and at times every Thursday evening, preparing the program of the National Dialogue. And when we approached the President in October last year, he availed 3 of his own emissaries, and together we have been working as the preparatory task team to bed down the program of the National Dialogue. So we have been agitating, we've been ready to get going with the dialogue and have been agitating for the announcement. So it's most welcome, and we are ready to get going with it.
Yeah, the FW de Klerk Foundation also being in support of the dialogue. Talk to us about the role that your foundation played as well, Ismail, and if you will, just the I suppose also just some of the technicalities, right? The President talking about how, and I quote, "In my capacity as head of state, I'll be calling a national convention on Friday, the 15th of August, 2025. So your expectation on how things will play out?
Absolutely. Naledi, thank you very much. The FW de Klerk Foundation, as Mr. Biko says, fully supports the national dialogue. It's why we heeded the call for a national dialogue along with other foundations in July last year, and we've been making tremendous progress on that. I think this is an incredibly momentous occasion because it lends legitimacy and moral credibility by the President announcing this eminent persons group who come in to provide us with experience and guidance on this process. It complements the steering committee that will be making the day-to-day decisions. And I have to say, on the technicalities, the President has utilized, goodfully so, his Section 83C responsibility of promoting the unity of the Republic. The first national convention is going to be momentous as well on the 15th of August, as you've mentioned. We plan on that being an agenda-setting moment, wherein the idea and the themes of the national dialogue will be laid out so that boots on the ground can be set for the local and district dialogues to follow.
Yeah, I'm keen to talk about this eminent persons group. And I suppose, Mr. Biko, will bring this one to you. What you make of the makeup of it, some key names. I mean, what stands out for me is the likes of having a Siya Kolisi there, right? Obviously an icon for the country, but the kind of contributions that you'd expect from someone like him. You've got Amia Leroux, Miss South Africa, but you also have Imtiaz Suleiman, founder of Gift of the Givers. You've got former politicians and former members of parliament, Lindiwe Mazibuko. Religious leaders. I thought this was quite interesting. 2 leaders from the Zion Christian Church, the St. Agnes Zion Christian Church. What a mix, Mr. Biko.
Well, this is actually implementing one of several principles that we negotiated. So Ismail is correct. We invoked Section 83 of the President, which positions him as head of state and a custodian of what is in the national interest. But the other underlying principle here is Section 16 of our Constitution, which empowers citizens to impart or receive ideas. It's part of our freedom of expression. And we had to find a balance between this being a publicly led process that is also one that is overseen by the head of state. And so the appointment of an eminent persons group was one way of guaranteeing that we are able to de-link this from petty interests or sectionalized interests. And so the broad array of people that you see there are intended to help us lend the message of the national dialogue across sections of our society, such as we envisaged from the beginning, that it will be an inclusive process. And so those names are a reflection of that. Yeah. Now, what we look forward to doing over the next short while is over the next week consolidating the work of the committees, and then very soon, hopefully in another week or so, we are able to sit down with a thorough briefing to onboard those eminent persons so that they begin to take the message of the national dialogue to the various constituencies.
You've got, and I just want to keep looking at some of these names, Dr. Brigalia Bam, former IEC Commissioner, Judge Edwin Cameron, former Constitutional Court Judge, and it's quite a list. I'm really just touching on a few of them. Mr. Rolf Meyer, former Minister and Constitutional Negotiator. Oh, listen to this, Mr. Siyabulela Xoza, award-winning rocket scientist. Just the most interesting list. There is, of course, Mr. Joosub, going to be the process of streamlining public participation. And that's where I think some of the great concerns certainly are going to be. You think about the themes that are covered here, race relations, how we interact with each other, and how we interact with the LGBTIQ community, for instance. These are tough conversations that we're having, and you need to be able to streamline them with the South African public and keep it respectful but progressive. I mean, that's quite the challenge that we're facing this year with getting that dialogue done. Mr. Joosub?
Well, Naledi, we cannot detract from the diversity of the Eminent Persons Group. They bring a wealth of experience, but they also cover wide constituencies, as Mr. Biko has said. I want to say, when it comes to public mobilization, I serve as the co-chairperson of the Public Mobilization Subcommittee. We've made tremendous progress. One of the things that we had to deal with is how do we take the dialogue, the idea of a dialogue, to the ground, to the people. And the core belief that we held on to is that our job is to facilitate but not to filter conversations. We expect conversations on various themes to be aired out by people of South Africa, and we expect this. But with the overarching goal of bringing about that national social compact so that the most heated challenges in society, be it land reform or be it service delivery issues, are indeed catered to. Some of the progress that we've made at the Public Mobilization Committee are already engaging with a number of stakeholders who are going to be providing us with an enabling mechanism for having these dialogues come to fruition. For instance, do we have stakeholders there who have had experience of dialogues in the past? Do we have stakeholders who are able to train facilitators for these various dialogues at a local level? I must remind you, we have 257 local municipalities in South Africa. We have 8 districts and a number of metros. It's not going to be an easy task, but with the guidance of this Eminent Persons Group and with the will of all players involved, it certainly will be possible.
Yeah. Mr. Biko, I'll let you have the final word here just as we close off. Lots of work to be done in the months that come as we get closer to August, but the ideal outcome, you know, it's not lost on us, the mix of foundations. I mean, who would have thought that we'd see, for instance, a Biko Foundation and a Klerk Foundation working together? But it is an interesting moment, certainly for our country. The ideal outcome on the other side of this, yeah.
It's in the nature of the dialogue, but dialogue has to be inclusive. That does not for once mean that we will agree on everything, nor does it mean that the conversations should be comfortable. I think we are dealing with real issues in South Africa, issues of poverty, inequality, and many, many others that require frank dialogue. But what should come out of this is hopefully a rejuvenated society. We went into the last elections, for instance, with 39% of our citizens participating. And we can ill afford to lose a democracy that was hard-won, such as was ours. And we hope that one of the things that will distinguish this from other conversations is how we bring with it a practical, implementable program that can be embedded in various aspects of our society. For instance, you will have on the EPG people coming from the monitoring committees of government. Some of these things have to be implemented by government. Some of them have to be implemented by citizens, femicide, and the violence we see in our community. Those are things that are the solutions for which are embedded in our homes. And these are part of what we must deal with to reset the trajectory of our nation.
Yeah. an incredibly important moment for our country, and we look forward to seeing the activities as we get closer to the national dialogue. Please do keep us updated as well. We do appreciate your time. Mr. Nkosinathi Biko there, who of course leads the Steve Biko Foundation, and Ismail Joosub, who's the Manager of Constitutional Advancement at the FW de Klerk Foundation.